Then the mobsters show up, slap him around. He's like, slapping you isn't working, so pay us or we're going to kill your brother.
The term that they use.
Oh, they drop the N-word. Yeah.
They do. Your N-word brother.
That's right.
Because he doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have a kid, so he's like, we're just gonna have to.
You have to do your
you have to, if you want to keep your N-word brother safe.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
1995.
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared. Damn! And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
All right, welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast, and we are going into the new year and watching another New Year's movie called Money Train, starring Woody Harrelson, Wesley Snipes, and I forgot J-Lo.
How did you forget J-Lo?
I don't know. Yeah.
That's it, you're fired.
Jennifer Lopez is in this movie too. What do you remember about Money Train?
I remember it being super cool. Like, to be perfectly honest, I remember it being really, really cool. I remember it being funny. But that's pretty much all I remember about it. Like, I know that I think it's supposed to be a heist. They're supposed to be stealing money from a train.
Yeah.
I think that was the plan, but I can't remember if they managed to do it, if they got caught. Did they ride off to the side? I don't remember any of that. It's been a long time since I've watched this movie.
Yes, and 90s. It was the 90s. Yeah. I watched it then. I probably would have watched it another, maybe one or two times after that, but it would have been in the 90s. Most definitely.
Yeah. 100%. It was late 90s that I watched this.
Yeah. And
so well over 20 years ago.
I am a huge Woody Harrelson fan. I am a big Wesley Snipes fan. 80s and 90s, they both made, and Woody Harrelson's still making movies. Yep. Wesley Snipes has started making movies again. But they were in Wildcats together, White Men Can't Jump, and then this one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember it being cool. It's just another either buddy cop movie or just an action-packed action movie.
I remember it having a lot of action.
Yeah.
Can't remember any of the storyline. Does that bode well for this?
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Well, let's go to the box office. It opened on November 22nd, 1995. It had a budget of $68 million in 1995. It opened in 2,522 theaters on the same day as Toy Story and Casino. It opened at number 4 behind Toy Story, GoldenEye, and Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. The weekend total was 15.5 million. Not bad, but it puttered out at 35.4.
God, that's terrible.
Yeah. I checked, like, Jurassic Park was made for 60 million.
Damn.
GoldenEye was made for 63, less than this movie. I remember GoldenEye having he was driving the tank down the street and helicopters and so it did not do well. It bombed.
No.
And that's probably why we didn't see another movie with them together in it.
But the weird thing is, I remember Money Train being almost like a cultural touchstone of the late 90s. Like, I remember me and all of my friends talking about it, and we referenced it like years later. Maybe it's just because Jennifer Lopez is still like in our realm.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson, I feel like he's not moved on from Money Train, but this was not the highlight of his career.
No.
But I know Jennifer Lopez still talks about Money Train because it was like one of her bigger kind of roles early in her career.
All right. Well, let's go to tail of the tape. Money Train, 1995 action movie, rated R, and comes in at hefty 1 hour and 50 minutes.
This better be entertaining.
Yeah, hopefully. Taglines. If you're a criminal, stay on the train.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Get on or get out of the way.
Not bad.
That's okay. Get on the fast track.
That works a lot better. Cheesy as hell, but it works a lot better.
Synopsis. Where are we here? Charlie, Woody Harrelson, is a New York City transit cop with a mountain of gambling debts, and John, Wesley Snipes, is his responsible and frequently exasperated foster brother. Oh, okay, they were brothers in this. They compete amicably for the affections of fellow officer Grace, Jennifer Lopez, but things become more serious when Charlie decides to rob the money train that carries the transit authorities' daily proceeds. John must decide whether to prevent Charlie's crime or to join in on the heist.
Interesting.
Still not remembering a whole lot.
Me neither.
And the poster. That's an alright poster. It's nothing spectacular, but gets the job done.
It's super 90s.
Yeah, it's super 90s, but
yeah. But I mean, it's fine.
I wouldn't buy it or anything like hanging on my wall.
No.
All right. Let's go to Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. 32 critic reviews have this movie at 22%.
Jiminy Cricket.
50,000 audience members has it slightly better at 29%.
Jeez.
Critic consensus: loud, incoherent, and aimless. Money Train reunites Snipes and Harrelson and proves that starring duos are far from immune to the law of diminishing returns.
Jeez. It's kind of harsh.
We will start with the positive, and you may go first.
Fantastical. More viscerally charged than Speed and hipper than Die Hard with a Vengeance, the movie is a careening, screeching joyride that showers sparks like fireworks. Stephen Holden, New York Times, original score 4 out of 5.
Okay, Stephen, that's a pretty big fucking claim that it's better than Speed and Die Hard, with two movies that I do remember very well because I saw them a ton of shit times.
I still watch Speed regularly. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
And Die Hard with a Vengeance with Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis. Oh, so good. Okay. Money Train is a by-the-numbers action buddy picture, and few directors run through those numbers as smoothly as Joseph Rubin. Kenneth Turan, Los Angeles Times, original score, 3 out of 5. Yeah, even if it's a by-the-numbers action movie, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You can start.
Fun action flick with J-Lo at smoking hot best. Glenn M, 4 stars. Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah. Despite the bland story and bad acting, mostly by J-Lo, Snipes and Harrelson saved this train wreck with their great chemistry and timing. Unknown, 3 stars.
It's okay. Not great, but I've seen worse. Seen better too, though. Unknown, 3 stars.
Great.
This is good.
Rotten. It's stupid, but also breezier than this year's other 12 score releases. Not worth a second look. Mike Clark, USA Today, original score 2.5 out of 4.
The 2 stars do manage to get off a couple of amusing riffs, and Snipes gets to show off some of his kung fu fighting skills. But that's hardly enough to rescue what amounts to a real mess. Chris Hicks, Deseret News, Salt Lake City.
Even if they only charged a token, it would be too much. Al Hinson, Washington Post.
Al, you're so mean.
You may start.
Dumb as dog shit on a cake. Unknown, 1.5 stars.
Didn't know what to expect, but what I'm watching isn't it. Unknown, 1 star.
White man can't pull off a train heist. Unknown, 2.5 stars.
IMDb.
Fantastic.
IMDb has 43,000 user ratings, coming at 5.7 out of 10. For an action movie, it could go either way.
It could go either way for action movies, but it's better than I expected after the Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. You may start.
Thank you. White Men Can't Jump 2, The Great Train Robbery, the greatest movie of all time. 10 out of 10. Filmmocker.
One of Wesley Snipes' best films, in my opinion, with great action scenes and an awesome finale and an amazing performance from Wesley Snipes. 9 out of 10, Wesley Snipes. He didn't want to do the 10 out of 10 one. He wanted to make it look a little more.
because then it would be too obvious. It would be too
it
obvious.
would be too obvious.
But that was
Callan
Bass.
Callan Bass. That's who actually did it.
Quote, Callan Bass. We see you, Wesley. It's okay. It's not about robbing trains, but something else. 8 out of 10. Puns.
One of Snipes, one of Lopez's, and also one of Harrelson's best. 7 out of 10, Stamper.
Simple entertainment. 6 out of 10, R.B. Verhoof.
Yeah, so after Rotten Tomatoes, yes, simple entertainment. That's fine. I'll take simple entertainment.
As long as I'm entertained.
All that money and they still couldn't afford a plot. 5 out of 10, Curiosity Killed Sean.
Satisfaction brought him back. We don't need these kinds of movies. 4 out of 10, Lee Eisenberg.
Dear God, someone hand me the remote. I can't take anymore. 3 out of 10, CRFRPN, whatever the hell that Crifferpin. Yeah.
Sure. Has anyone put this together? 2 out of 10, KB2894.
Oh, the 1 out of 10. Okay, I used part of his review for this too. Hold on your seats. One good scene, guess which, in a total piece of manure. The hot sex scene where Wesley Snipes bangs Jennifer Lopez sideways definitely chops some wood. The rest of the film is the biggest piece of drivel I have ever sat through a movie theater. 1 out of 10. Oh, come on. Oh.
I need to fucking print that up and frame that.
Yeah, right underneath the poster on the wall. That'd be awesome.
Oh my God.
Well, now I got that to look forward to.
Definitely chop some wood.
All right, we are going to watch trailer for Money Train and then make our predictions. Here we go.
That report says you're brothers. You, sir, are a Negro. He is white. Is somebody trying to jerk me around?
No, sir. Actually, we're foster brothers.
Yeah, see, I ran away from this orphanage.
I'm sure it's a very touching story, but shut up!
Every day in New York City. We got a police action, sir. 6 lines south of Wall Street. It's the job of the transit cop. Come on, Grandma! Stay. To risk his life and keep the peace.
How you guys doing? Nice to meet you.
Damn, this job is looking up. They're not just partners.
You brought the money, right?
Yeah, $300.
Hey, mother owes Mr. Brown $15,000.
15,000? Drop him. They're family.
He's a great guy, huh?
Yeah.
Too bad he's got that problem with women.
Now, they're about to discover.
They're stopping trains. I want to know why.
So we got cops on the tracks down there.
Nothing stops the money train.
The system cares more about the train that carries its money.
My train. My people. My money.
Than it does about its cops.
You mess with my train, and I'll kill you.
3-4 million at least. You know what we could do with that kind of money?
We're not going to rob the money train.
Why not?
Because we're cops.
You're a loser. You're a wreck looking for someplace to happen. I'll be there.
But why take the heat when you can take the train?
We gotta do this. We can do this.
No,
We're gonna do it.
no.
We're gonna do it.
This Thanksgiving, the train, it's your station. Money Train.
With you and me together, man, what can stop us?
Trailer looks good. It's the same voiceover dude that does reindeer games.
Yes, that does all of them. But
I mean, it looks typical action. I can see where they spent all their money.
Yeah, I could definitely see where they
Recreating.
spent. Also, they actually filmed it in the New York subway, so that's going to cost a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And then paying for off-duty police officers. to work
I have a
security.
feeling too, after White Men Can't Jump, Snipes and Harrelson got paid.
Yeah, they got paid for that.
Got
I'm sure they
paid.
did. But yeah, no, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
know
hoping.
how good it'll be. But
I'm
I
not
think it'll be
expecting
fun.
great here, but it looks
No.
like an action movie with some comedy, and
It's an hour and 15 minutes long, so I would very much like to not feel that
Yeah.
hour and 50 minutes. So as long as the time passes at a pretty good pace and there's enough entertainment and kind of quips for me to laugh at. And now I'm curious to see how hot that sex scene is.
yeah, I'll be able to chop some wood at least. There's that. You have to go down somewhere else where there aren't people around.
Yeah, no, maybe
Easier
you
said
watch
than
it.
done in my home.
It's because you have like 45 kids.
Yeah. All right.
take it over.
So we're hoping to like it. We always hope to like it, but we think it'll be just an average.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking it's going to be super great. I don't think I'm going to rave about it, but I think it'll be fine.
All right. Well, we are going to go watch Money Train. And then when we come back, we are going to review it.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat. And then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
Yay.
Woo!
All right. Welcome back, everybody. I have watched Money Train. Have you watched Money Train?
Oh, have I watched Money Train?
Did you chop some wood?
There was no wood chopping. Let me tell you, there was no wood chopping, and I'm a little disappointed about that.
Yeah. All right. Your initial thoughts?
This is one of the most boring movies I've ever watched in my life, and even Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson's chemistry could not save it. Because boy, did they have chemistry, but it was not good. Not good.
See, my initial thoughts are I didn't hate it. I think the reviews were kind of spot on, both the good and the bad. And I think they're a little harsh at the time. And that goes for the good reviews and the bad reviews. Some of them were a little overly generous with the reviews. Don't get me wrong. This is not a great movie, but it wasn't void of entertainment.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't as bad as some of the reviews made it out. It wasn't as good as some of the reviews made it out either. But my initial thought is I didn't hate it. I didn't mind watching it.
I was bored through most of it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I was bored, and I was also checking to see how far into the movie we were. Like, I was like, how far in is this?
Yeah, that's not good.
Because it feels like
Realistic
nothing's
movie.
happened. And
Oh,
then-
yeah. No. Yeah.
So I was like I remember at one point I made the note that like we were 51 minutes in, and I was like, I feel like we're not going anywhere with this story. And we're like more than halfway through.
I felt like they tried to do too much. They tried to do there's different stories going on, and they're trying to build character development, and
It got distracting.
they probably could have shaved 20 minutes off.
Yeah.
They probably could have lost some aspects of the movie, some of the side things. And there were a lot of shitty parts where I rolled my eyes, made off the cuff remarks about it by myself. And can I also say the amount of recognizable actors in this movie?
So many.
Holy shit.
So many.
Like
I did actually squeal a little bit when Enrico Colantoni was on, and I was like, Enrico.
Which one was that?
He plays Dooley. So the first time that they're stationed on the money train and it's going through, and then the fight breaks out.
Yeah. Also, there was the first one. I can't remember the name of the actor, but he plays the brother-in-law in Breaking Bad, the FBI agent. Is that the guy from Just Shoot Me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I saw him there too. The Muggers. I
Yep.
recognized the guy. He was in The Deuce. I recognized the other guy. I didn't know what he was from, though. Yeah, just the amount of people, a couple of the other cops, a couple of the gangsters.
There were a lot of people that I was like, I know your face.
Couple
I know
people
your
from
face. Oh my God, you're
Soprano.
from this. Oh, you're
Yeah.
from this. Oh, you're
There
from
was a
this.
lot, like a
There's a
lot.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, let's go through the movie. So I did not hate it. You hated it by the sounds of it a little more than I did.
I didn't like actively hate it, but I didn't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So Foster brothers John and Charlie Robinson are transit cops patrolling the New York City subway on Christmas. They chase two muggers into a subway tunnel. So Woody, or Charlie's pretend to be drunk, the decoy.
Yep. Decoy.
Yeah. These kids see he's wasted and decide to rob him. Then they pull out his badge. Charlie is smiling. Chase begins. And I like this. Charlie and John, Woody and Wesley insulting each other as they're running and chasing kids, laughing when one falls and trips. And right away, you can see the chemistry between Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. It's undeniable.
It's off the charts.
Yeah.
Off the charts.
It is a shame that this movie bombed. Like, only if it's the reason that it prevented any more movies these two made together.
Yeah. Well, whenever they're on screen together, like, you can feel it. You can feel the chemistry between them. And it flows and it's so smooth. And you're just like, yes, this is good.
Yeah. Just in the wrong movie.
Exactly.
Nearby trains are halted, but transit captain Donald Patterson allows the money train hauling subway revenue to continue. One of the teenage muggers is gunned down and killed by transit cops guarding the money train, triggering a brawl between them and the brothers.
Okay, can we talk about Patterson?
Yeah, well, first, to be fair, they did tell the mugger to stop repeatedly. Second,
No, they did.
Even if I was running from two cops, the 6 or 7 men wearing SWAT gear holding fully automatic weapons would become my main concern.
I would have stopped.
Yes.
That's just me. When I have a bunch of guns pointed at me, I don't run towards them.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a note here. Look, Wikipedia says Patterson blames John and Charlie for delaying the money train. I have a note here. Let's talk about Patterson. Played by Robert Blake, who was accused of and tried for murdering his wife. Acquitted.
Yes, acquitted.
Later found liable. But he was a little rascal from our gang. So I call it a wash. I'm a big Little Rascal fan.
Sir, I feel like your moral compass is not pointing to a true north.
Oh, come on. Watch a Little Rascals out. Come on.
No. No. Period. No. But I'll forgive you and your fucked up moral compass.
This character was so over the top.
I literally was like, wait, what's my note? First I wrote Mike on the wall. Who the fuck? Nobody's gonna have a mic. Like an old timey 1950s. I'm Elvis Presley singing, like I don't even know. Coming off the wall. I was like, that's ridiculous. But apparently he wants to stand in front of the glass to talk into the mic. I was like, fine. And then I said, also, why is the boss giving mob vibes?
Yeah.
He was giving off mob boss vibes. And
his attire looked mob. Like his suits.
Yes. He's wearing that pinstripe suit and talking into the mic on the wall. And it was very, I don't care. We're going to do it my way. And I'm like, how did you get promoted?
His character was so over the top. Like, who was that? The mustache twirling villain. That guy. He did way too much.
It was too much. It was too much, especially right off the bat, where he just has this weird, nobody fucks with the money train attitude. And I'm like, but there are people on the, not just the robbers on the tracks, you're cops.
Yeah.
Because I think transit cops are their own.
Yeah.
Division, we'll say. I don't know if they are also NYPD. This was not clarified to me. That's fine.
Oh, maybe that's why he was able to boss around like that.
Yeah. But I was like, the transit cops, your people are on the tracks, and you're all like, nah, keep the train going.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Also,
And they
that's
could have
not
made
safe for the money on the money
no.
train.
And they could have made him the bad guy without going this far. They could have just made him just by the rules, by the book,
Mhm.
and a little douchey. They didn't have. This was like cartoon villainy.
Yes.
Like,
It's like they were trying to make him sinister, but it went
yeah,
like 10 steps too far.
yeah,
And I'm like, all I'm getting is that like he's the third cousin of some like Italian crime family where they wouldn't even make him a captain. He wasn't even a consigliere. Like he was just, you know, stupid cousin Donald
yeah. He got
that
this job
nobody
as a
wanted to let
favor.
into the family. So he's worked for the New York subway system. Like,
But the way he was going out, like he should have been kidnapping like a damsel in distress and tying her to the tracks for the money train to run over.
yes.
And I don't know if it was written this way or the director thought it would make the audience really hate him and cheer for the heroes, or Robert Blake said, "This is what I'm doing." Brandished a gun, and we're like, "Whoa, Bob, cool down."
Well, I also think at this point, like Robert Blake was still like a Hollywood legend.
Yeah,
So I don't know if it was offered to him or if he auditioned. I have a feeling they offered it to him.
yeah. Because
And
this
they
was
were
7
like, "You
years
need to-"
before
Yeah. This was
the
some
alleged, the alleged murder.
fuck yeah, air quotes. Yeah, so I have a feeling it was offered to him. I don't know the story. If anybody does, feel free to share. But I have a feeling it was offered to him, and I have a feeling this was his take. I also have a feeling that the director tried to get him to change, because
Yeah,
you can see some scenes where he's just an ass. And
yeah,
you're like, okay. And then there are some scenes where you're like, fuck, for reals?
yeah. It was just what
Too
was that
much.
character? Dick Dastardly
Ah,
with the big long
yes.
mustache. Yeah. Dick Dastardly, for those listening, Dick Dastardly was a cartoon villain from Hanna-Barbera with a sidekick Muttley on
Yes.
the Wacky Races.
Who had a really weird laugh.
Another weird laugh, yeah.
Yeah, God bless.
Yeah, so he's full on douche. He calls them. I did like when he was confused that they were brothers, since John was a Negro and Charlie was white. And they're like laughing to each other.
Can I tell you, when he said
Oh,
Negro, I was
yeah.
like, oh God. I had like a full body shiver where I was like, is it going to be one of those movies? I'm like,
Kinda
please,
was.
it kind of was. Not totally, but
No.
it was, I was like, oh, geez. Thankfully, they didn't go heavy into that kind of stuff. But God, did they really play into the whole, like, there's so much that I was just like, some of it was funny. And
Yep.
I will 100% give, there's like an interaction between Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson where, you know, Wesley or John is joking with Woody, Charlie, and being like, remember your heritage, da 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 da. And I was like, that's
I'm
funny.
black and I'm proud. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
I was
funny.
like, that was funny.
I
But
think
there was
that's what
one
you
scene.
remember. Like you were saying, you quoted this movie. The movie does have a lot of one-liners, like a lot of stuff
Yeah.
like that in this. Yeah.
Yeah. So there were some things that I really liked about it, but then there were others where it was like when Charlie is walking home or walking away from John's apartment, and he's like, you know, that's not how you walk in this neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
And then he
has to do
started
the
doing
strut.
this exaggerated strut thing, and I was like, oh, sweetie, it is not 1985. You are not a pimp.
Yeah.
Can you not?
This was probably funnier in 1995.
It probably was. It probably was. But anywho,
But they were told that the money train stops for no one. Even in real life, I'm sure it adheres to some law and code of conduct. And I don't know if they transport money like that anymore. Maybe I have
doubt
no
it.
idea.
I
don't
doubt. Well, because
see it.
now it. I don't know if they still use tokens in New York, but a lot of them do have cards.
Yeah.
So like the Metro card, like they're tapping their way through. So I highly doubt that there's that amount of money anymore.
Yeah.
Because remember in 1985 or 1995, that was when, you know, we all started using ATMs and getting debit cards and things
Yeah.
like that. But not every business could take a debit card yet.
Yeah. Cash was still
Cash
very
was still,
much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you were going out for the day, you had a wad of
Yeah,
cash on you.
cash. Yeah. So they're also mad at the meeting, and John says he'd like to steal that money train. Charlie is all in, but John quickly says he doesn't mean it. And then Charlie says too late, and he stole the guy's little tiny money train, little toy. Charlie asks John for money to buy a Christmas present, but instead uses to pay off gambling debts to mobsters Mr. Brown, only to get even more into debt when Brown intends to have his men throw Charlie off a building. Until John intervenes, revealing Charlie is $15,000 in debt. John at first decides to let them drop him, yet after brief conversation, Mr. Brown accepts John's promise to deliver the money in a few days. I like this scene, they dangling him, and when he's like 15,000, drop him.
Drop him. I ain't got it. Like I'm not giving that to you. I got 300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John and Charlie both take a liking to Grace Santiago, an attractive newly assigned decoy transit officer. Yeah, it's Jennifer Lopez. I'd be excited too. I was excited watching her. The van scene where they meet her in the van and Grace is in the back. Then they turn around and like, oh my gosh, she's hot. Da, 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 da. I'm like, yeah, she would hear you, dude.
Not necessarily, because I have sat in the back seat of a van and I cannot hear what's being said in the row ahead of me, never mind two ahead of me. So I'm like, it's very possible. It's very possible that she didn't hear. They weren't exactly being subtle, though.
No, not subtle at all.
But also, God bless her for having such good hair in this movie. To flag that. Her hair was good.
Yeah.
This was good hair.
Yeah, nice ass, too. Just throw that out there.
Always
Thanks, J-Lo. Nice ass. Yeah, still. Oh, my God.
Still to this day.
Almost 30 years later?
Okay, look. Her body has only, I don't know if I can say gotten better. It's changed a little bit. But, like, she still looks amazing. I will 100% give her that all day, every day. She looks absolutely amazing physically.
Yeah.
Like, just incredible. Still, like, from 1995 to now, she's hot. A slightly better actor now than she was then. But, I mean, like, I actually started wondering at one point during this movie if they were letting her film her scenes with the other actors, or if they were just recording her lines like on their own. Like if they were like, no, just stand in front of Wesley and say all of your lines in succession. Don't actually interact with him. Because God bless. It felt like she was by herself. Even that kind of felt like she was by herself. But anyway.
Poor Wesley had nothing to work with.
Right?
When a serial killer known as the Torch robs a token booth and sets it on fire at risk of killing the booth attendant. So this time, John is drunk, playing the drunk guy. Charlie and Grace are watching. Then they see the token collector across the tracks set on fire. This should have been the main part of the movie. Like, dial Dick Dastardly down a few notches. Or 10. Make the money train a side thing, or where they don't rob it, they just bust it or whatever. And concentrate on the serial killer. You could have made this a franchise. Don't get me wrong. Still need some rewriting here. And Chris Cooper was the
he was the Torch.
Yeah, it was weird because he's a friggin' amazing actor.
No, he was super duper creepy. Yeah. And I was like, I'd watch a movie about this guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could have split them in two.
Oh,
the first one about where they're the good guys trying to save the money train, and then do the serial killer movie. Like, they tried to jam too much and then didn't concentrate on that stuff and tried to do all this other stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I can understand. Eventually, you understand why.
Yeah,
the serial killer is like, you get it. You're like, okay, this is like a story tool. I get that. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm more interested in the serial killer than I
that
am
could
in
have
the
been
money
a great
train.
plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the little bit not concerning, but I was like, because I kept wondering, I was like, why are we spending so much time on this guy? Because they also could have just done it where, you know, he holds them up with a gun or a taser or something, and it a lot quicker and not as involved. But maybe it's just Chris Cooper. But I was like, I want to know your story, sir. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know it all.
They had a whole movie there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. John and Charlie rescue the attendant and put out the fire, but Torch escapes and knocks out Grace. So kick-ass Wesley Snipes, or John, leaps past the train. That was a great shot
Yes.
to get over to the other side. Lazy Woody Harrelson, Charlie goes up and then down. Yeah, not for naught. The amount of fluid, the flammable fluid the Torch sprayed on that attendant and in that booth, she should have lit up like an Australian bushfire from 2020.
Oh, Jesus.
Seriously, little koala bear should have been running out screaming from under her fucking pants.
Oh
Like she just only her arm caught on fire and he sprayed her. Like
Yeah.
she should have just went.
Well, what killed me was when he first sprays her, it hits the entire front of her body.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why is her shirt not on fire? Because it hit her shirt.
Yeah, come on.
And
R-rated.
Because
Set her on fire.
no, but it defied a little bit of logic because I was like, man, he's like covering her in this. And then we watch it and I'm like, she hardly was lit on fire.
Yeah.
'Cause that shit would have spread, especially in an enclosed space like that. So I was like,
Oh yeah.
this is defying logic.
Yeah.
But
And
God
just the
bless.
fumes in that closed area. And
Oh yeah.
but see, if they
She-
would have concentrated on this as the movie, that would have been cool.
It would have been so cool.
Yeah. So yeah, where are we? Where is Wikipedia here? Yes, I did make a note where it could have been easily a franchise by split. I should have been a movie executive.
You should have been.
Yeah, I cut this shit off at the source before they go to filming.
Well, no, I would have changed Torch. I would have been like, that's a different movie.
Yeah.
Let's just make it so that this guy, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tasers them or something.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be running Warner Brothers. No, where was this movie made? Sony. Sweet, get involved. Spider-Man movies. I would have stopped Morbius dead in its tracks. I tell you what. John rejects Charlie's plan to rob the money train to pay off the debt. When they and Grace are assigned to patrol the money train, Charlie discovers a grate in the train's floor and a maintenance ladder leading to Central Park. A brawl breaks out between John and another officer, quickly involving the entire squad. Yeah, this was stupid.
So stupid.
Standing in someone else's spot. The officer, John, would have obviously moved or got out of the way for the guard. They wouldn't have been that dicky. But we needed to see the maintenance men working and then end up in Dick Dashley's office again. Yeah, it was just specifically written to aid the story, not to help it or make it better. It's aiding it. Not so great writing. Don't get me wrong. The dialogue, for the most part, when like Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes are talking, is great. The story,
I love them.
not so much.
The story, no.
No.
The story is super clunky.
Yeah.
It's like they kept realizing that they were running into logic problems. So they just kept creating new stuff to fix the logic problems rather than working with what they already had.
Yeah.
And they just kept adding to it. And it made the story bulky and clunky. And it drove me bananas.
Yeah, this could have easily been an hour and a half.
Yeah. Because you could have just had, even on the money train, everybody trading barbs and, kind of being smart asses with each other. And like joking around, but kind of being like, you're a dick, so I'm going to make you feel like a dick. While still noticing the maintenance men, while still noticing the grate and still doing that. Having the fight break out just felt really extra.
Yeah, it did. Again, blaming the brothers and accusing them of taking some of the money, Patterson continues to berate them even after realizing a collection agent miscounted. Did the agent miscount, or did he steal it?
I thought he took it.
I thought he took it too.
Yeah.
Charlie tells John the best time to rob the money train would be New Year's Eve due to less security and being the year's highest proceeds up to $4 million that night. I will attest to this. Back in the day, whenever they were raising the prices or tokens on the passes, it was usually January 1st, was it not?
Yeah,
because that's when they
there were a
changed.
couple in the fall, like
Right.
before school would start. But
So I remember buying like my pass and getting a bunch of tokens just to have on spare, because it always pissed me off when they raised the prices. Oh, because did they do it every year?
not every
Raise
year.
it? Not every year. No.
Not every year. They were doing that for the passes for quite a few years, where they were like, "Oh, the pass is going to increase by another $3 or another $5 or another $2."
Yeah.
Now they're fucking ridiculous. But yeah, they were doing it for the passes, and they were holding off on like cash ones, and then they would do that like once every 3 to 5 years.
John gives Charlie $15,000 to pay back Mr. Brown. Okay, first it was because he felt guilty, and we have to go back Wikipedia. Earlier, they went to the bar. John and Grace had a little something going on. Charlie comes over, starts hitting on her, tells Grace John is gay.
Yes.
They go to the bar again, where they talk about robbing the train. Again, John is like, I would like to, but we're cops. And then this is the second time they're at the bar. Sees Grace dancing outside by herself. This was a stupid scene.
So fucking stupid.
And they dance not very well for being a black man, a Latino one. I'll just say it was fucking horrible. Should be ashamed of themselves.
This is really
I could
terrible.
have done that.
I don't know if you could have done that.
Well,
like,
no,
let's
but
be real.
With a little training, I could have gotten that good.
No, true, you could have. And it's so sad because I used to spend a lot of time in Latin clubs in my youth. And I like when I saw J-Lo dancing by herself, I was like, first of all, you look like a fucking moron. Second of all, I was like, really? That's all you got?
And she was a fly girl. I live in color.
She was a fly girl. She's had years of training and she's Puerto Rican. I'm like, girl, salsa should be in your blood. But anyways, then Wesley comes out. God bless him. Apparently he does know how to salsa too. I don't know if he did for this movie, or if he was just matching energies. And then they had one of the most boring, least sexy, like just pedestrian, like little dance with a few twirls.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just boring. We don't need this. You can do for a slow dance. Like she's outside. It was too hot in there. They kind of chit chat for a bit. And then the slow song comes on and she says something like, dance with me. And then they slow dance. And then you can have the exact same scene. You don't need the salsa.
No.
Which was anticlimactic at best.
Yeah, I would have got stunt doubles or dance doubles.
She's supposed to be able to dance.
Yeah. I would have loved to be a studio executive. John is like, no, I can't, and leaves because they were about to kiss because earlier they were walking and talking. Charlie and John were walking, talking, arguing, and John finally said, you go for it, man, because they were arguing about her. I think that was when they got mugged.
No, it was
a little later.
It was he gets mugged.
No, like when they both were the three guys come out and point the guns at them while they were arguing.
No. That's after this
later.
Night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the walking happens before that.
Okay.
So it's at the end of this night that they get mugged by the guys, or they try to get mugged.
Right. So Charlie ends up hanging out with Grace because John leaves.
Yep.
And there's this when Charlie ends up at John's house saying he's in love.
Yes.
Right. And then he says he doesn't, a gentleman never tells. He's like, he thought he kissed her. So John goes to the gym to work out that aggression. Most people go in the shower and have a wink, but Wesley goes and works out for a couple hours. Whatever, teach their own.
That's because John is having all kinds of emotions because he kind of loves Grace Santiago.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he's trying to sacrifice his own feelings for his brother, who feels like he never gets anything good in life. And he's like, well, if you want Grace Santiago, I'm going to bow out. I'm not going to fight you for her.
Yeah. First time ever.
Yeah. And then
she
shows
fights
up. Her.
Yeah. Grace shows up. They box. She realizes John isn't doing anything because Charlie likes her. And she's like, don't be a bitch. Why don't you hit this? And then he hits her and knocks her to the ground.
Yeah.
And then they go and is this when they go and chop some wood?
No, they are not chopping wood, but they make plans to chop wood.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So where were we with Charlie? $15,000 to pay back Mr. Brown. But while on the train, Charlie's pickpocketed by an old lady and then beaten by Brown's men as punishment. So then we cut to they meet up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we get to see Jennifer Lopez's boobies. Sort of.
Yes.
Awkwardly.
There's some boobage. I was like, that's a nipple.
Yeah, I saw a nipple. Very quick.
And then
very
I saw
odd.
another nipple.
Yeah, then I saw another nipple.
It was very dark though, so I mean, it was like suggestive nipple.
It wasn't as hot as that IMDb.
It was not hot at all. Like
out.
I don't care what anybody says. This was not a hot sex scene.
No.
There was nothing hot about it.
No, they didn't have a lot of chemistry.
It was as hot as they're dancing. This is why I say I think Jennifer Lopez, I think they literally just put her in front of the actors. I was like, just say your lines.
Yeah.
while looking at Wesley, or just, make a face. I was like, you do not look like you're having a good time, Jennifer Lopez.
This was her first, actually. She made a lower budget movie before this, all TV before this, and this was her first big budget movie.
Yeah. A lot of people credit this as being her like big break, because it was the first big budget thing that she had done, and this was her first big budget like acting.
Yeah,
that she had done.
Yeah, and this sex scene, it didn't make me want to chop any wood either.
Yeah, no, there was no chemistry. Neither of them really looked like they were having fun. Wesley looked like he was having a little more fun than her, which usually is the case. I'm not saying anything about anybody, but I'm saying 9 times out of 10, heterosex usually involves one person having more fun than the other.
Yeah, I'm always having fun. I don't know about the other person.
And that says a lot about that. That says a lot about that. But yeah, no, it was one of the most unsexy sex scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Charlie gets pickpocketed. It says actually right here on Wikipedia, John's visited by Grace, have both realized mutual attraction to each other, and the two have sex. My bad.
Yep.
My trust in Wikipedia is limited at best. Returning home, stopping by John's apartment, he is saddened to spot Grace and John sleeping together and walks away, with John feeling remorse for hurting Charlie as well as disappointment after Charlie tells him he lost the money. In a sting operation to apprehend Torch, Grace is disguised as a token booth attendant. Realizing the trap, Torch distracts police by pushing a man in front of a moving train, killing him. Torch sprays gasoline on Grace, but before he can light it, Charlie alerts the other officers, who open fire. John pursues the killer into another station where they fight. Good chase scene. Charlie is a little shoot happy. Holy shit.
Little shoot happy, but we also have to mention that when Charlie shows up, he's late, first of all.
Late. Smells of alcohol.
Smells of alcohol. So John's like, are you fucking drunk? And he's like, look, man, I just got to explain to you what happened. He's like, I don't really care. The simple fact is you keep fucking up. Like, just stop fucking up.
Yeah.
He's like, if you're drunk, go home. Like, I don't know. He's like, I'm not drunk. I just haven't taken a shower since yesterday. And I'm like,
Drunk
okay.
People always say that.
They always do. God, this is not vodka coming out of my skin.
Yeah.
It's the rubbing alcohol. Fine. But then when John goes out to help with the guy that got pushed, all he says to Charlie is, keep your eyes on Grace.
Right. And then he
just watch Grace. And then you see what Charlie is looking at through the binoculars.
Yeah.
It's the tracks.
He drops them. Yeah. He's on the other side of the tracks, not Grace.
Yeah. Then he drops
the binoculars. Yeah.
Picks them back up, looks back at the track where the guy got pushed.
Yeah.
Still not Grace.
I was trying to remember if J-Lo got lit up in this.
Well, he finally turns towards the thing and it's on fire. Or no, it's about to be on fire. I think it's about to be on fire. He's got the match up, and that's when he calls in the 1013.
Right.
And says,
then
everybody go.
Yeah. And then chasing them. What did he hope to accomplish by firing his gun into the air at the park?
I don't know.
I didn't get that. I know the reason behind, again, to aid almost hit 2 kids getting hit by that horse and carriage.
Yeah, but the only reason that horse and carriage, yeah, I know. It was like, we need a reason for him to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was his gunshots.
His gunshots in the air, like it's the fucking Wild West. And as a cop, you would know that is some shitty gun safety.
Yeah.
You should never shoot your gun without a target.
No.
Whether that target is like an actual physical target or a human being, you don't randomly shoot into the air because then that bullet can hit anybody. Anyways, that's my gun safety.
Funny.
No, it wouldn't, because that actually happened to someone. I think it was.
It happens all the time. Apparently,
it happens all the time. Yeah, they shoot into the air, and I've heard stories of like people with the bullet ending up in the heads of people who were just in the area or a little further away, and you're just like, God, fucking morons.
Goes straight up and then falls all the way down and kills someone. Yeah. Trivia: the 2 kids that Charlie saved from the charging horse and carriage.
Yep.
Like we said, was all his fault. The girl, Katie Gill, grew up to be super hot, and a steady acting career. And the little boy, Cody Gill, brother and sister, I'm guessing, or a fantastic coincidence. He grew up not too shabby himself.
And he became siblings.
stuntman and a stand-in in movies.
Really good for him.
Yeah.
But yes, they are siblings, FYI.
Yeah, I guess that.
And Sir Cody Gill.
He's
He has
got
a picture that
beard.
has a very impressive beard.
Yeah, but then there's another picture of him where he's shaved. Yeah, he's not too shabby looking. Good for him.
Look at him with careers.
Torch is burned by his gasoline and killed by an approaching train. Okay. Yes, John chases him down. Wesley unleashes some kung fu.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, I believe he's actually well versed in this. Like Wesley Snipes. Like
Wesley Snipes has studied a lot of martial arts.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he actually trains and practices all that stuff. Nice fight scene. Great kill by the Torch getting smoked by that train.
Yes.
Patterson fires Charlie for ruining the ambush. Trying to defend Charlie, John is fired as well, leading to his brothers having a major fallout. Because Dick Dashley appears and tells Charlie he can help him, and all he has to do is ask. When Charlie goes to stand up, because he's sitting against a subway pole, Dick Dashley, in the most dastardly way, pushes him down and says,
"No,
you can ask from down there." Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this is getting into sexual harassment territory.
Yeah. Just weird. Just a weird way to go.
Yeah.
Charlie tells him to go fuck himself. Dick fires him. John tries to intervene. Does he get fired or suspended?
I think he gets fired.
Fired. Yeah. Okay. On New Year's Eve, John and he says he's done with Charlie. That's it. And then they leave. On New Year's Eve, John storms into Mr. Brown's strip club after hearing about Charlie. Okay, Wikipedia. Back up a bit. Charlie ends up at the bar drinking. He gets cut off by the bartender, goes to the bathroom. Then the mobsters show up, slap him around. He's like, slapping you isn't working, so pay us or we're going to kill your brother.
The term that they use.
Oh, they drop the N-word. Yeah.
They do. Your N-word brother.
That's right.
Because he doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have a kid, so he's like, we're just gonna have to.
You have to do your
you have to, if you want to keep your N-word brother safe.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
1995.
Yeah.
Okay. So John hears all of this, goes to the strip club, and this isn't a huge deal, more of a nitpick. How come I can see Jennifer Lopez's boobies, but every one of those strippers had a bra on or was dancing and covering their titties? $68 million and you couldn't afford a few titties in a strip club?
Probably not, to be perfectly honest.
This would have been one of my notes as a movie executive.
They probably would have had to pay them more. Therefore, they're like, no, we're already spending too much money on this. But also, generally speaking, the strippers are dressed when they're backstage.
But when we go in, it's out front because he walks in the front and goes all the way around. No, he goes in front and then he walks into the back where they are. That I get. But when he walked into the front, they were up dancing and stuff. And they weren't wearing anything, but their hands were covering as they were dancing.
Oh,
doing this. Every single one of them.
It's because they probably had to pay more.
Yeah.
Some titty action.
Yeah.
Just saying. Although there is a logic problem with when what's his name? Charlie finally goes into John goes into the back and he starts beating up all of everybody. Basically, he's an ass kicking machine.
Yeah,
all by himself, not even afraid of the mobsters, who apparently never figured out that they should probably pull out guns and just start shooting. But I mean, it's fine. The mobster who used the N-word, all of a sudden, John says it back to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, his N-word brother or something," and kicks him through the glass wall. And I was sitting there going, "Wait, if John is not talking to Charlie." And it was the bartender who called to tell John what happened. He wasn't in the bathroom when that comment was made.
He could have been very nosy and went up to the door and kind of like listened.
Possibly, but I was like I was sitting there and I was like, how did John know that was said about him?
Yeah, no, because they needed that because he said, "Who you calling N-word?" And then he roundhouse kicks him and through the glass thing. So they needed to do that.
But I was like, how did he know?
Yeah. No.
How did he know? Was the bartender really just sitting next to and not doing a goddamn thing to help? But I'm just saying.
Yeah. and defeats the mobsters. I'm Wikipedia here. Uses his martial arts skills, threatening Brown if anything happens to Charlie, knocking him out with a 360-degree kick into a glass enclosure. Yes, very cheesy. Some cool martial arts stuff.
Yeah. No, the fight scenes were actually pretty good in this collection of scenes. I really enjoyed them. Everything surrounding it was kind of weird, but okay.
And if you are listening to this, if you are listening to this, boys and girls, even if you have a good grasp on martial arts or mixed martial arts, do not go up to beat up gangsters.
No, don't.
They'll just, if you beat up one or two, the next one's going to shoot you.
True story.
If
you
they
may not
see how
even
good
get
you
to
are,
number 2.
Yeah, you might not even get to number 2.
Yeah, they won't hesitate.
No.
Only movie mobsters wait.
Yeah, it's like movie mobsters aren't well versed at fighting or
apparently they're
in real life. I'd probably guess they've been in a tussle or two.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I just wouldn't.
so.
I wouldn't do it. Where are we here? Grace persuades John to intervene in Charlie's robbery. What the leave it to Wikipedia. Okay, so John meets Grace at the bar.
Yes.
The bartender gives the present to John, saying it was from Charlie.
Yes.
There's a postcard on it, and it says it's a beach and a palm tree.
Something about the islands.
The islands await.
Yeah.
And inside is that little train replica that Charlie stole from Dick Dastardly. John puts it all together, which is good considering he's a police officer, and sometimes that's part of the job. Charlie enters the money train from beneath, throws out the driver, and drives it to the ladder, but is unable to escape with the money due to the presence of a group of NYPD mounted cops. That was funny. Reaching the train, John persuades Charlie to drive further to avoid arrest. Yeah, how did he get? I even hear him get on there or see him get on there, or
I think he got on at one of the stops. No, wait.
Or when he was trying to go up the ladder.
Was it when he got onto the ladder? When he was trying to go up the ladder?
That's right, because he knew about the ladder because Charlie kept talking about it. Okay. John persuades Charlie to drive further to avoid arrest, and they disable the brakes to prevent Patterson activating them remotely. Patterson deploys a steel barricade, but John and Charlie accidentally increase the train's maximum speed and smash through the barricade. No, they meant to do it. How the fuck do you do it accidentally?
You don't. They meant to do it.
Yeah, they meant to do it. John says speeding up is the only way that the train will stay on the tracks and go through it. And this is where you could have had the train robbers as the side story, build their characters and drop the serial killer torch until the sequel. I just think they wasted they had a great opportunity here. John and Charlie hop the train and I missed a paragraph. Transit Control Officer Kowalski declares the money train a runaway and starts clearing tracks, but Patterson diverts the train onto a track occupied by passengers train 1220 to prevent the riders' escape, and does not tell the driver about the money train coming up behind them. When Charlie tries to steal the money, John attempts to stop him from doing so, leading to a brawl between the brothers. I like that Charlie fought dirty.
Yeah.
Like, it made sense. Woody has no kung fu skills. Like, he kicks Wesley in the nuts. Bitch slaps him with that bag of coins.
Yep. He's like, no, I'm winning this. I don't care how, but I am coming out on top.
Yeah, well, especially with all that money.
Yeah. But then his conscience gets the better of him when he smacks him upside the head with the money bag. That pushes him out.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's keeping him up is like his foot on the bars.
Yeah.
And then Charlie goes to save him and lets him lean outside of that train for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
While saying, I'm here. I've got you. I've got you. I'm here.
Yeah.
And not actually pulling him up.
Like he was thinking about letting him hit that thing.
Like not until the switch is coming up, like the light.
Pulled him in.
And that's when he pulled him in. And I was like, well, if it was that easy, why didn't you do that like 3 minutes ago? Instead of just letting him hang out the side of the train. I'm like,
dramatic effect.
Yeah. Felt stupid.
Eventually sorry, go ahead.
No, that scene drove me nuts. I'm here. I've got you. I've got you. I've got you. I'm like, then pull him up. That was all I thought. Then pull him up. No, just going to let him hang there. Anyways, go on.
Eventually, the two stop fighting when Charlie saves John from falling off the train. Yeah, not for not. The action sequence were good, like practical, expensive, shot in New York, and New York action scene, and they covered all of New York.
Yep.
Times Square, Rockefeller Center, where the tree was, everything, the subway system. There must have been some pissed off New Yorkers during that film set. Holy shit. Like we read that Ghostbusters, they were so mad at it that a lot of them didn't even go watch the movie. They must have been, that's why it bombed.
Yeah, but also I think a lot of this movie is actually done at night for a reason.
Yes, yeah, a lot less, yeah.
Yeah, there are not a lot of daytime scenes.
No,
So
not at all.
That might be the only reason that they're still allowed back in New York today.
The money train slams into the rear of the passenger train and slows down, but speeds up again, continuing to ram it with the increasing risk of derailing it and killing everyone on board, including the driver. With no brakes and the throttle jammed, the brothers decide to throw the train into reverse to save the passenger train. Charlie positions an iron bar to trip the reverse lever, and the brothers climb on top of the train. I do love that Hollywood time. Like the train smashed the passenger train.
Yeah.
Slowed, sped up, smashed it, slowed, sped up, but then took its sweet ass time to do it again until they figured out how to to get away. Yeah. The money train rams 1220 again, activating the reverse lever, putting it into reverse position, and the brothers jump across to the 122 train as the money train derails, to the horror of Patterson, who is waiting at the next station with the officers. If that was a miniature, which I'm guessing it was, that whole train rolling, but at 68 million, maybe they did a real train for, I don't know. It looked great.
It looked amazing.
Yeah.
It looked absolutely amazing.
When arriving, the brothers try to escape, but are spotted by Patterson, who interrogates them. Actually, John was like, don't run, just follow my lead. And they were like saying that they were there to help. But fed up with this abuse, they both punch him in the face after he spits on John. Yeah, because they were saying they're there to help. And he's still, why are you here? I fired you. You guys are losers. And that's some big words for someone that you no longer have working for you.
Yeah. there was a lot that I was like, this is a lot of like moments for you.
Yeah.
This is big feels from a little man.
Yeah. As Patterson shouts out for their arrest, he is arrested himself by Grace for endangering the passengers' lives, much to the brothers' amazement. The brothers then exit onto Times Square just as New York countdown begins and ends, ringing in 1996. So long ago. so young and child free in 1996. During the celebration, John realizes Charlie has a bag with over $500,000, much to his dismay. The film closes with the brothers walking off into the distance, arguing over the money while the credit rolls. And that is our movie.
That it is.
What is your score?
Skip it.
Skip it?
Skip it. Like, there are redeemable moments in it. The chemistry between Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes is off the charts, and they have such great screen presence. It's a joy to watch them. Yeah. Even if you don't think what they're saying is funny, they have so much magnetism, and they just gel so well together. It's a great performance regardless. But for an action movie, there's not enough action for me. It feels like they crammed all the real action. Like, you have action moments. Yeah. But all of the action is like in the last 15 minutes of the movie. And I'm just like, we spent a lot of time with a lot of nothing. And it wasn't paced well. There were so many logic holes in the story. There's so much stuff that you're just like, you went too far with it, that it no longer serves the story. Yeah. Like you think it does, but it doesn't. And that will drive you nuts. So for the 15 minutes of really good action, the rest of the movie was not worth it for me. Also, it feels like Jennifer Lopez was literally just acting by herself. Like, I've never seen, like, I feel terrible saying this. I do. But I've never seen someone with less chemistry with their co-stars than this. Because at least sometimes you see people who don't have chemistry, but you can tell that they hate each other. Yeah. And they're like playing against each other. You can feel that. This just feels like she was playing up against like a green screen. Like there was nothing there, and she had no reference. Yeah, honestly, yes. It feels like she was acting in front of a cardboard cutout, and it hurts my heart. Also, that sex scene was not sexy.
No,
it was not hot. There was no like. If you're gonna give me sex, give me hot sex. This was not hot sex. So yeah, I say skip it. I don't think it's worth your time. It doesn't have enough redeeming qualities to make it worth your time.
All right, skip it. All right, my score. Okay. Where is it here? This could have been a much better movie. This could have been a franchise and at a lower cost. Like, move it somewhere else. You could save $20 million not shooting in New York. We already know New York people hate you fucking up their traffic. And this movie fucked the traffic, the subways, Times Square, Rockefeller, wherever that Christmas tree is. Anyways, could have, would have, but they didn't. This is not a great movie. I didn't hate it. A lot of the reviews, mostly from audience members, pegged it. J-Lo and Wesley banging and chopping wood was not great. Simple entertainment. There was a plot there. It was stupid. They needed a lot of extra fluff just to get it there. But we did get to the finale. Some side steps notwithstanding. But I found some of it entertaining. J-Lo, not her best movie. Smoking hot, but not her best movie. She wasn't, I was going to say she wasn't as bad as some people criticize. She kind of was.
She was bad, yo.
I just keep seeing that shot of her bum when she's playing the pinball machine. She's not that bad of an actor. Come on.
I'm sorry. I also feel like she's never actually played pinball before.
Yeah, no, that was horrible.
That was
as soon as I said
saw
that,
her do it. I was like,
that's not how you play pinball.
no. That's someone who's never played pinball before. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she's not a pinball wizard, that's for sure. But the sheer chemistry of Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes kept this movie together and made it somewhat watchable and fun for me. I didn't want to turn it off. It was stupid. It had some questionable and nonsensical choices. And it's not so bad that it is good. That is hard to accomplish at $68 million in this caliber of actors. Not J-Lo. This, I would say, a mindless, non-plot heavy, but somewhat entertaining and a bit charming action movie. The action was solid when it was there. The chemistry was off the charts. It reminded me how awesome these guys were or are. Like Woody Harrelson has been very consistent. Wesley Snipes was the best thing in Coming to America too. He was great in Dolomite Is My Name, and he was in so many 80s and 90s movies I remember loving. Not so bad. It's good. No, it's not one of those. A slight guilty pleasure in that I would say stream it if you haven't seen it in a long time and you remember liking it. You're not going to like it as much as you did, but you might get a kick out of seeing. That was nostalgia. That's what the only thing I can say. The nostalgia kept me from hating this movie, and it was Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. So I say stream it. Yeah, I'm confident with a stream. I wouldn't pay money for it. I did pay money for it.
I also paid money for it. A little mad about that. Not gonna lie.
I was contemplating, should I buy it? What if it's good and I just rent? No, I've done that already with a couple.
Yeah, no, I decided to rent it. And I'm so glad that I did rent it. Because I'm like, I don't want this in my collection. Sorry, Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. You guys are awesome, but I was like, nah, man. Nah. But there was a lot of nostalgia, and there was a lot of, kind of, the 90s.
The 90s, yeah. Like, I might watch it again. I won't be paying for it. If I see it on a streamer, like in a few years down the road, I might be it's just going to be because of Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes.
They have such good chemistry.
Probably do White Men Can't Jump. Ooh. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I remember really liking that movie, and I would probably watch that one. I remember
really liking it too. Rosie Perez is in it, isn't she?
Yeah.
I love Rosie Perez. Like, I have an unnatural love for her. Like,
Who
it's
was the
big.
other lady in that? I can't remember. But yeah, I remember that being a great movie.
I remember it being great too. And what have we learned in doing this podcast?
Yes.
Chances are.
Yeah. So we have a skip it and a stream it.
Yes.
So, anything else you want to say about this movie?
I just want to say that in the scene where they're in the bar, And J-Lo walks up to him, and you get a close-up of her lips, and she has what we affectionately called the chola lipstick, which is the dark liner around the very pale lips. I was like, shit, I forgot that was a thing we used to do.
1995.
Woo woo. Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like, oh shit. That was super duper 90s. But yes, she was smoking hot in this movie and terrible. Smoking hot.
Couldn't play fucking pinball for life depended on it.
Yeah. Her acting wasn't terrible.
No,
like,
it's never terrible.
No, her performing was fine. It just felt like she was by herself and just reciting the lines.
Yeah.
Like she had decided how she was going to deliver the lines, and that's what she did, regardless of what was happening around her.
Yeah, now you say it, there weren't a lot of where there were there were a few shots, but not a ton where there were her and another character in the same shot. A lot of them cut.
There was a lot of coverage. Yeah. There was a lot of coverage, but also there was just a lot of like, I'm like, was the other actor even in the scene with her? Or was she just like, was the director just like, look at Phil, the PA, and say your lines to him? Like, it was very concerning. But anyways, that's all I got to say.
All right. Well, that was Money Train from 1995. And thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe if you like it. Bitch about it. Whatever. Till we remember the next movie we remember liking.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking,